The courtroom was quiet, but the weight of what was happening inside made it feel loud with emotion. Cassie Ventura stood in front of the judge, lawyers, and a room full of people. She was there to speak about something very painful, something that had haunted her for a long time. Her voice didn't shake. Her hands didn't tremble. She looked calm but strong as she told the story of what she said had happened to her during her relationship with Sean Diddy Combs. It wasn't a short story. It took 4 full days, 4 long emotional days of going over years of her life that she said were filled with fear, confusion, and pain. People all over the country, even the world, were listening. Some were shocked. Some had suspected something like this for a long time, but most were just heartbroken by what they were hearing. Cassie, a woman known to many as a singer, dancer, and model, was opening up a part of her life that had been kept hidden. She said that what people saw on the outside, a glamorous lifestyle, red carpets, music videos, and fame, was nothing like what was going on behind closed doors. She described a relationship with Combs that lasted over a decade, and what she said happened during that time was chilling. According to Cassie, the abuse started early and never really stopped. She talked about how she was only 19 when she met Combs, who was much older, more powerful, and extremely influential in the music industry. She said he quickly took control over many parts of her life. Her career, her money, her body, and even her mind. He made her feel like she owed him everything. He isolated her from people who cared about her. She said he convinced her that no one else would want her, help her, or understand her the way he did. In her words, it was like being trapped in a very beautiful but very dangerous cage. One of the most disturbing parts of her testimony was about what she called freak-offs. She said Combs would force her to participate in these encounters with other people while he watched or recorded it. She didn't want to do it, she said, but he made her feel like she had no choice. Sometimes he gave her drugs to make her more compliant. Sometimes he threatened her. Other times he promised her things like love, attention, or career support if she just did what he asked. It wasn't about pleasure. It wasn't about consent. It was about power and control, Cassie. Also spoke about a specific night in 2018 that she said changed her life forever. She said Combs raped her. She said she was afraid to tell anyone at the time because she thought no one would believe her. He was too powerful, too well connected, too famous. But that night stayed with her. She said it broke something inside of her, something she's still trying to put back together. As she spoke, the courtroom was silent. Every word she said seemed to hang in the air. There were reporters outside trying to catch every detail. There were fans online, reading and reacting in real time. But inside that room, it was just Cassie telling the truth as she remembered it, refusing to be silent anymore. She said it wasn't easy to talk about any of it. It made her feel ashamed, scared, and angry, but she said she needed to say it out loud, not just for herself, but for anyone else who had ever been in a similar situation. And while she stood alone on a witness stand, she was not alone in her life. Outside of the courtroom, Cassie's husband, Alex Fine, was standing firmly by her side. He wasn't just supporting her quietly, he was speaking out. He released a statement after her testimony that made it clear where he stood. He said he was proud of his wife. He said he admired her strength, her honesty, and her bravery. He said that no matter how dark her past was, it hadn't broken her. In fact, it had made her even more powerful. Fine didn't hold back. He called out Sean Combs directly, saying that what Cassie described was disgusting and unforgivable. He also criticized the people who had helped Combs over the years, the assistants, the lawyers, the business partners, anyone who had seen signs of what was happening and chose to stay silent. Fine said those people were part of the problem too. He said that abuse doesn't happen in a vacuum. It happens because people look the other way, because they care more about money and power than about doing what's right. But more than anything, Alex Fine talked about who Cassie is today. Not a victim, not a broken person, but a survivor, a fighter, a mother, a wife, someone who chose to take back her voice, even if it meant reliving the worst parts of her life in front of strangers. He said her courage had inspired him, and he believed it would inspire others too. Cassie's testimony was about more than just her and Diddy. It was about a larger pattern of abuse that happens far too often in the entertainment industry. The music world is full of stories like this. Stories of young women being taken advantage of by older, more powerful men. stories of silence, threats, and manipulation. And the reason these stories often don't come out is because the people involved are afraid of losing their careers, afraid of being blamed, afraid of being called liars. But Cassie spoke anyway, and by doing that, she gave a voice to so many others. Her story reminded people that just because someone is rich or famous doesn't mean they can't be abusive. And just because someone is quiet about their pain doesn't mean they're weak. In fact, sometimes it takes more strength to survive. Than anyone can understand, the road ahead for Cassie won't be easy. Even after telling the truth, there will still be people who doubt her, attack her, or try to silence her again. That's the reality for many survivors. But she's not backing down. She's building a new life for herself, one where she's in control. She has a loving husband. She has a daughter. She has people who believe her, support her, and are cheering her on. And in the middle of all this chaos, she's shown something incredible. That even after the worst things happen, healing is possible. That even after years of feeling powerless, it's possible to stand up and say no more. Her story is hard to hear, but it's also powerful. It reminds us that there are people walking around every day who are carrying heavy, invisible stories. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is listen to them, believe them, and stand with them. This trial isn't over. There are still legal steps to go through, but something important has already happened. Cassie took her story back. She took her name back. And in doing that, she became a symbol of strength for countless others who have suffered in silence. In the end, this is not just a celebrity scandal. It's a wake-up call. It's a reminder that abuse can hide behind fame, behind money, behind charm. And it's a reminder that survivors deserve to be heard, to be believed, and to be supported. Cassie Ventura didn't just share her pain, she turned it into power. And for that, the world is watching, listening, and hopefully learning.